at every vote when we go to the floor of the House, and I talked to him quite a bit. So I'm hopeful he would be one of the signatures.
If I were allowed a follow-up question, it
Sure.
would be, would you consider joining the Freedom Caucus? We're big fans of yours and would love to see you be part of that.
Yeah, when the Freedom Caucus was first formed, the argument was they needed 30 people that would go to the floor of the House and vote the right way, and that lock arms and vote the right way. And I told him you'll only ever need 29, because regardless of what you decide at your meetings, I will be on the floor voting the right way. I don't need the cover of 29 other people to do what I think is right. So what you really need is people who don't vote as a block, ironically. You need people who will go down there and do the right thing. They don't need to have meetings and talk about it. I'm sure if your Freedom Caucus is like I can imagine, you probably talk yourselves to death, and everybody in there is the smartest person in the room, and they've all got a big plan, and they get beer muscles on, and then when it comes time to do something, it's not, if everybody's not in agreement, it doesn't happen. So the Freedom Caucus, those are my closest allies. But it also turns out that Victoria Spartz, not in the Freedom Caucus, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not in the Freedom Caucus, Warren Davidson, not in the Freedom Caucus. These are actually the toughest fighters that I know in the House of Representatives. So I would say if you have a member of Congress who gets elected, probably the Freedom Caucus is a good thing for them to join. It would be a good indication to you that they're at least willing to say they're conservative when they get to Washington, D.C., but I wouldn't put much weight into what caucus somebody is in. Just look at how they vote.
You want to respond to that, Senator?
I couldn't agree more. We went from about 4 conservative votes last legislative session in 2024 to 12 to 15 consistently pushing back against the growing government agenda of the establishment. So we wrestle with that battle because we have a lot of conservatives like yourself who vote with us, but they're not really joiners. But I agree wholeheartedly. If you have the courage to vote your conscience, you'll end up pretty much voting like a Freedom Caucus member.
Hey, by the way, the fact that you're on this Twitter space tells me you are one of the best ones there in Oklahoma. I don't need to know much more. And also the fact that you're trying to